Episode 4 of Criminal Minds, Evolution, Season 18, I'm Alright. It's alright. Another hour in which JJ is anything but fine, and understandably so, everything is fine. As a result, this episode is just another chance for AJ Cook's performance to ruin us to the extent that almost everything else is insignificant. Here, that turns out to be both a strength and a weakness. There are definitely some strong points in the case of the week, and it may even be a terrifying warning about the kind of dark place one can go after suffering an unimaginable loss. However, it's hard to care about much else from the first moment JJ's sudden return to the office interrupts the team's briefing until the very end when she pursues Voit. As a result, I nearly wish the Tucson case had never happened. There is already more than enough going on in this episode, so why waste a strong guest cast, a heartbreaking ending, and some Mother Prentice advice? We can't eliminate the Voit stuff, after all. It is not only the series' overarching plot until this point, but it also has a significant, to put it mildly, connection to JJ's arc. That brings us full circle to the question of why we need a third thing to be concerned about. Because we can, and because we have too much story to tell in too little time, seem to be the two possible answers. That final response is both a boon and a bane, much like Cook's amazing performance. While having a large story is beneficial, it can become difficult due to time constraints. But somehow, I'm fine. It's alright. It turns out that everything is fine is more than that. Criminal Minds, Evolution Season 18 Episode 4 is this perverse combination of stories without the JJ of it all. In one piece, a father tries to repair his daughter's skin and make her look like herself again after a terrible accident by doing unspeakable, evil things. Agent Rossi's efforts to retrieve Elias Voit's memories, in collaboration with Agent Lewis and Dr. Ochoa, are a distorted mirror image of that. Dr. Malcolm Ramsey aims to restore Ariel to her normal, attractive self in the case of the week by erasing the external signs of trauma. However, in Voit's case, the goal is to find and awaken the monster, the ugly side of ourselves. Oh, and the narrative of this episode is twisted on both sides to create the most hideous version of what it means to be a hospital patient. Simply put, Voigt's most terrifying memories are trapped inside his damaged brain and only start to resurface through nightmares and some less than gentle prodding from Rossi. Along the way, there's also a fascinating callback to when Rossi couldn't stop talking to his inner Voit, seeing the ghost of the man everywhere until he had no choice but to confront the real deal. The episode displays a distorted mirror image once more. This reflection is all about role reversal, in contrast to how the case of the week parallels the larger arc. Voit is currently experiencing nightmares about Rossi attempting to implant himself in his brain. However, Rossi isn't genuinely attempting to murder him. Well, at least not really. However, no one is going to assert that Dave would object to getting rid of the man either. Rather, he is attempting to help Elias remember who he is, which will end his fantasy about himself as a helpless lamb. Someone once told me that the images I was seeing were a totem for something my subconscious was attempting to suppress. Rossi tells him, I believe your subconscious is acting in the same way. Given the nightmare, the video that triggers it, and the recollection of Voit enjoying it when he drilled into a man's head, along with the fact that Rossi plays a significant role in Voigt's narrative, that ought to be fairly simple. However, Rossi told Voit right away in Criminal Minds, Evolution Season 17 Episode 6 that nothing is worse than him during that same conversation. Voit seized the opportunity, as he always does when any BAU member, particularly Dad Dave, gives him a small opening. Voigt's words to Rossi back then are worth repeating because they may shed some light on their reversal of roles in Criminal Minds, Evolution Season 18 Episode 4. Unless your repression is so deep, you'd rather lie to me than face the truth. With Elias's imagination running wild in this episode and portraying Dave as the worst thing in the world, viewers must once more begin to ask some crucial questions. First and foremost, I genuinely wonder, to what extent is Elias Voit lying to himself, Dave, and his physicians in order to avoid confronting the truth about himself? Furthermore, is he deliberately attempting to slow the process of reverting to his former, repulsive self by keeping his mind closed off to what he knows deep down? Seeing Dave as the villain who is trying to harm him is easier for him than seeing himself as the man in that flashback, isn't it? The answer is a resounding yes, especially in light of the fact that he has somehow deceived Dr. Ochoa and accumulated enough pills to overdose. If JJ is correct, Voit is the man in the mask, not Rossi. And let's face it, JJ is most likely correct. This has always had a catch of some sort. It wouldn't be Criminal Minds, Evolution otherwise. And it wouldn't be Voit, for sure. To recap, Voigt's case shares a lot more similarities with this week's case than might first appear. Throughout his entire experience, Dr. Ramsey is clearly lying to himself and, most definitely, to his daughter about what's actually happening. Because he would prefer to avoid acknowledging the fact that he is unable to save Ariel and that he likely enjoys the killing and torture more than he would ever want to acknowledge.